Hi, and welcome to my book club. Today, we're going to do Before I Let You Go by Kennedy Ryan. Now, let me pull up the notes, because you know I have the notes every time. I like to keep my notes so I know what I'm talking about, because I have ADHD, and this can get real deranged very quickly. So, let's get into this girl. Basically, a quick synopsis of the book is the story follows Yasmin and Josiah, who are divorced. They've been divorced for like, what, 2 years, I think it is. And they're co-parenting, but they still have feelings for each other. This is a second chance book, which this is my second chance book that I've read. The first 20% of the book, I was iffy. I didn't like Josiah not one bit. The first 20 seconds, the first like 20% of the book, I couldn't stand him. I felt like Yasmin, I don't know if she was being gaslit, if necessarily gaslit is the word, or if like she wasn't being understood, because I feel like what our girl was saying very plainly should have been understood. Like, it was right there in his face, and he was playing in her face. Not only just her, but the daughter, she was playing in her face too bad. Okay, when they were in that, sorry, y'all know I'm heavy on the spoilers. The daughter, she was too disrespectful for me. I'm sorry. I know people want to be on this whole new gentle parenting wave, and I was just waiting for that girl to just turn around and backhand her right in her mouth. You don't gentle parent kids this rude. You don't. You don't gentle parent kids this rude at all. You need to, like, yeah, who are you talking to? Well, I don't believe in gentle parenting as a whole, so that don't have nothing to do with me. This book taught me that I'm probably a little too immature, because Yasmin handled every situation that came to her with grace. Me personally, I would have took my son and left my daughter and my ex-husband to Vishta, aka Miss Ribs. She could have him. Just y'all, everybody want to play in my face? Go ahead. Bye. Bye. And that's what I knew I was too immature, because the whole time I just wanted Yasmin to pick up her son and just traipsy away in the sunset. And the book would have been done. Of why I didn't like Josiah to begin with. First of all, bringing that lady to Yasmin's house and having her in front of your kids like that.
Just be nice.
I'm finding it.
It take you that long to find it?
It does.
Oh, that pissed me off. Yo, the way I had to pause the book and just, I had to put it down and breathe. Because, what? And then he's like, he was trying to find that stupid ass loophole, and really and truly, what? Like, get out of my house, for real. You get out of my house, she get out. Has everybody lost their mind? To tell y'all how I would have been in there, like, has everybody, am I tripping? Bund on the horse. Bring it down. Am I tripping? Like, for real. In that lady house? No. Josiah played too bad with that. Like, that right there almost made him unredeemable, because she's telling you, like, we talked about, especially the conversation that they were having, because she's telling you, we talked about if we're gonna have kids, people around our kids, like, I should meet them and we should have a whole conversation. And he's like, well, you already know her. That does not matter. This is a new situation. Like, don't get me upset all over again, because he deserved, I don't even know. At that point, the book they shouldn't get back together after that. Like, he played in her face, played all the way in her face. I couldn't. It kills me now. the disrespect, like that was pure disrespectful. I don't care what nobody tried to say. Me, I wasn't feeling it. I'm gonna actually say not even, I'm gonna say 70%. I didn't want her back with Josiah at all. I wanted her with somebody else. I'm sorry to say. I'm not sorry to say, actually. His actions alone. Okay, next action of his that was the reason why I was over it. When Yasmin, the whole like phone situation with the daughter, and her skipping school, and he was telling her she was just being dramatic. It felt like Yasmin was the disciplinary and Josiah was just straight peasing around like he's just the babysitter. He's not the parent. None of his actions gave parent, it gave just the babysitter. Like, yes, he shows up. I'm gonna give you 2 points for being there, what you're supposed to be doing. I'm not praising nobody for doing what they're supposed to be doing. You brought 2 people in this world, you're supposed to take care of them. So I don't feel like I'm not gonna give him, I'm not gonna sit here and say he's a good dad at all, because I don't really think he is. And another thing that brings me up to Josiah not being that good of a dad, the situation with the little girl when they were on the steps. I don't remember the little girl name, and I'm not about to go look for it. When they were on the steps and he was like, oh, you look like your mom, and she was like, oh, I hope I don't, or I hope I grow out of that, or something she says to that effect, and then just walks down the steps. And I think there was multiple times where she disrespected the mom, and he just kind of like, with him there, and he just didn't get to the bottom of it. And I didn't like that. Like that first instance where she talked about it and he said, oh, I'm gonna get to the bottom of it, and then started to talk about how she got him wrapped around his finger. I didn't care for that. Like, hey, like, you're about to take her out, let's get to the bottom of it. And I think even when she does something again, I like that he tells her like, hey, stop. Like, at the end of the day, that's your mom. I'm gonna give you a little brownie point for that, I guess. The whole family was suffering from miscommunication. I will say the book does really, really well with explaining like PTSD, grief, trauma, and exploring it from different points of view, because at this point we're getting it from the kids, the parents, like everybody is going through grief, and I think they're kind of going through it in different ways. The son who's afraid of, you know, the family breaking apart. You have the daughter and she's angry. And mom who was so sad that she became depressed, and you have dad who's like just running like he gas no brakes. I am gonna say the miscommunication was grating on my nerves. It was. I feel like all of this could have just been solved if everybody sat down and had a conversation. It also points to the fact that people just aren't good at communication. Like, miscommunication is something that happens in real life today with everybody. So I'm gonna give it grace. High key, very realistic. Like, I feel this could be somebody's life right now as we're speaking. I said Josiah had sex with that lady and Yasmin didn't have sex with that man. I didn't like that not one bit. Not one bit. I feel like books as a whole always do this, where the man is allowed to go out and do whatever, and the woman, the furthest she ever goes is a kiss. I don't like that. Let's start making our women whores. For real. I'm being serious. Let's start making our women whores. Please. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. All I wanted in this book was for Josiah, when he was in that kitchen watching them people kiss, for her, for Mark, I think that's what his name was, to stick his hands in that lady's pants. At least give me that. The minimum I wanted was stick your hands in that lady's pants. Yeah, you watch that. This, I wish I saw more of the relationship when it was happy. We got the beginning, which is like a flashback of him asking to marry her. Okay, either him or her reminisce on what it was like to be together, so that I could understand why they wanted that, why they still loved each other. Because for me personally, it was hard for me to figure out why they still wanted to be together aside from sexual. Because to me, other than sexual, and you guys built something and you have kids together, it didn't give I loved you. Like, I wanted to see a little bit more of the relationship, just a little bit more. Like, Jasmine, there was a few times where I felt like she was just a little immature, but I think that was the part, I think that was the point. Like, both of these parents they're young, they have kids, because if I'm not mistaken, they're in their 30s, and their kids are like, they're in their early 30s if I'm not mistaken. I could definitely be wrong, but I read it as like they were just now hitting 30. I can look it up. They in their 40s. I don't understand why they were so immature then. I take back, scrap everything I just said. I don't understand why they were so immature in this book and they're in their 40s. Here I'm thinking they're in their 30s. And that to me is why I was giving them grace. Like when Yasmin was dating that white man just because, girl, grow up. Was that the only thing? No, I think there was a few other things that she did that, like, it didn't really piss me off to the extent that Josiah had pissed me off, but it pissed me off enough to be annoyed. Maybe I'm tripping out, but I think they both gave childish. But then again, now that I'm grown, I see that. I mean, Natalie Nunn's 50 and she's still fighting, so people just childish. Whatever. Let it be what it is. Overall, I think that the book was well written, really, really well written, and I loved the themes that were explored in this book, which I already told you what the themes were a little bit earlier. I really, for the life of me, my favorite parts of the book was the friendships, especially Soledad and Hendrix, and I cannot wait to get their friendships. Like, I cannot wait to get to their books because I want to see, especially Hendrix. Like, I love her. I really can't wait to get to Soledad's book because I hope she leave that no good ass man behind. I don't want no second chance with him. I hope he don't get no second chance. Visa, come here. Sit in the front, Visa. I have something to tell you. Every time you were on the page, I wanted you off the page. And it's not even that, like, the Vistra hate is unnecessarily. I don't think so. Well, here's my thing. Here's what I would need to know to deliberate if the Vistra hate is unnecessary. First of all, in the beginning of the book, I remember Jasmine saying that her and Vistra never clicked, although she clicks with everybody else. In order for me to understand Vistra, I need to know the timeline of when she was hired. Okay? Because I know they lose Bird, and then a few months later she has the divorce. I mean, a few months later she has the miscarriage, and they were still together in the time of the miscarriage. So I then have to ask myself, when did Vistra enter the story? Because if she entered while them people was still married and she saw them go through that and still was pining after that man, and that's why she never connected with Yasmin, middle fingers in the air to her, because that's just how I feel. It gave, I want your man the whole time, and I know that he still love you. Regardless, I don't like her, because it gave, especially when he was trying to break it off with her and basically tell her, like, oh, you know, I'm still thinking of another woman when I'm with you, and she's like, oh, we can work it out. What? There's no work it out, boo. There's no work it out. I did feel bad for Vistra and Mark in some sense, because these are two people that know they still have feelings for each other, allowing other people to get in the middle. Like, don't do that. Really and truly. At the end of the day, you two both know in your heart of hearts that y'all didn't want to move on. So I didn't like that. Not even a little bit. The emotional satisfaction that I wanted, because the only thing that changed in their relationship was that it was fucking. I wanted to see more of, like, therapy or something. Like, I wanted to see something more, because they kissed. Oh, they had that conversation. Okay, my bad. I forgot that they had that conversation. But I wanted more of that, you know? I wanted at least one therapy session with them together. You know, like, maybe he goes to therapy with her, she goes to therapy with him. I don't know. Maybe just something like that. I just wanted a little more emotional, a little less sex. But it was hot. I did start liking Josiah in the last 10%. I like that he didn't allow for anybody to blame Yasmin, and he himself didn't blame Yasmin for the divorce, because it really was the two of them. Like, they were just in two different places. And not only that were they in two different places, but they were handling it two different ways. And I understood 100% why he was hesitant to get back together, because she broke him the first time and he didn't think he could do it again, which is like, these are understandable things. And this is when I started liking Josiah. I think when it got a little more personal and we really started getting into it, when he started going to therapy and he started opening up even to himself, because I think what we saw was a shift in dialogue where I think he mentions it, like, he puts all of his emotions in a bottle or pushes it back to the back of his head, but because he was in therapy, it started becoming the forefront of his head, and in doing so, it became more talked about from his point of view. And I think that's what made me like him more when we finally got to that part, because now I'm getting jokes, like, now I'm starting to connect with this man and I'm understanding where he's coming from, because before this I wasn't, even with his point of views, I just wasn't feeling him, because he was hiding from himself. So in hiding from himself, he was turning around and hiding from the reader, being me. And so I couldn't connect with him and I didn't like him. It just is what it is. That's really all I have to say about this book. So what will I give this book? Drum roll, please. Damn, I'm giving a drum roll and I'm stuck between a 3.5 and a 4. I don't know. It wasn't a bad book. It was well written and it explored some of my favorite themes, but they were childish at the same time. And I feel like Josiah being childish or dismissive was worked because we saw him work through it. Yasmin, when we meet her, she's already 2 years into therapy, so I felt like she should have been a little better. I don't know if the word equipped is probably the best word, but I'm just gonna use it for now. But our girl was also being gaslit by everybody except for her friends, so we're gonna give her a 4. Woo! She gets a 4 for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.